guys? It's TRT77, and I've got a return to content this week. It's been a while, and I've been slacking, but this week we have got the last week of DTT. We've got a playoff picture coming up, and I've got one of the OGs, one of the goats with me, Mr. Bobby Karala, and I think that we're going to go in depth into most of the matchups. There's obviously like still three teams that can make or be eliminated from the playoffs in varying scenarios, and that's what we're gonna go over. So I'm just gonna jump right into it with Bobby. Guys, I'm here with Bobby now, and we're gonna start off the playoff picture with the standings. So taking a look at the standings, first up, we can see that pretty much two teams are locked in. Bobby, you have any thoughts on these standings? Obviously, we have the two teams that are no longer in contention. Unknown Skill and Lavier have been eliminated.
Well, TRT, considering the game of the week is my team, I have a lot of thoughts about the standings, but I'm happy with how we're positioned right now. A couple weeks ago, we were 1-2, lost two of those games in a row, including one to the Cult of Tyler Pfister. Unfortunately, your team. Yeah, but we bounced back really well, and that's kind of like the sort of the through line for all our guys on this team all season long. Like Tago got off to that rough start, like he got hacks to hell in week 1, but and then lost I think another game after that, but he's been undefeated since. You know, Bold, who's another one of our guys going this week, he lost pretty good in his first game, but then bounced back with the win. Just feels like overall, like we don't let what happened last week affect us. You know, we kind of like stay going forward and we stuck together and everything. So it's been pretty good so far. So I'm looking forward to this week. But yeah, I mean, overall, you know, y'all got off to that pretty good start and clinched a playoff spot. So kudos to you. But you're still in a position where you could help us out a lot, man. If you can just beat the Magikarp, then nothing matters. So even though I'm mad at that y'all beat us before, now you're my best friend.
Yeah, this is probably the most support I've ever had in a week of Pokemon at this point. Moving on.
I got my pom-poms out and everything, dude. I'm a huge TRT fan.
God, let's hope for the best. I mean, again, just looking at the standings, we've so right now the two teams, obviously the Plusles have clinched because they're on 13 points and no one can reach that. They've guaranteed the first seed. There's still movement between seeds 2 through 5. Like, if LMAO do win, they could go as high as seed 3. If the same for the babies in Magikarp, they can go up to the second seed should they be able to win this week. Based on differential, Cult of Tyler Fister, we can't be eliminated because even if we lose 0-4 and LMAO wins 0-4, we win on we go through on head to head since we had beaten them on the week that we played them. So yeah, we have the locked in teams, the Pyriton Plusles, the Cult of Tyler Fister, the eliminated teams. Lavier, obviously they have a bye this week as well, so it's an early season's end for them, which is rough, but they did beat us, which sucks. But Unknown Skill.
Get to Cancun while it's still warm, man. Get to Cancun while it's still warm.
Yeah, Unknown Skill had, like, honestly, it was weird. It's one of the most up and down seasons. I thought in the beginning, I really thought that they had a very good shot at winning the whole thing, and then it just hasn't come together. And
and Lavier too, dude. I mean, you look at Lavier's roster; they have a bunch of players. I wasn't in season 1, but just judging off the doc from season 1, they had a bunch of people on that team that were on the championship team from last season.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I guess it just shows kind of how balanced this league is. And I was gonna say too about the Plusles. I guess a lot of people from another league or something, because I'm not familiar with any of those players.
So they're from another league called UDL. Most of them.
Okay.
And
yeah,
they're kind of.
I mean, they've been super strong.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're newer. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're newer.
Yeah, because they've done really well this year.
This bubble basically, but they've been around for a long time. They're OGs as well. But like, they've been amazing. I think they've only drawn 1 week, and that's been their only. They've had an almost flawless season, and that's been it's been amazing watching them, honestly.
Yeah, and in those in all of the coach interviews that you did earlier this year, I was watching all of them, and it seemed like, you know, you always ask them like, who are the teams that you expect to make the playoffs. A lot of people said Cult of Tyler Fister. Of course, they're sucking up to you. A lot of people said LMAO, and they still have a chance to make it, of course. Some love for the Mighty Magikarp. They had that great start, obviously, and then some people believed in the babies, but it didn't feel like anyone really kind of penciled in the Plusles, so they just kind of like earned it. I don't know. Maybe it's because a lot of people aren't familiar with them or whatever, but they've been very impressive this season.
Oh yeah, they've got like those the 2015 Warriors vibes where no one really knew where the hell they came from, and suddenly they just kicked everyone in the face. So
Yeah, but I mean, you look at all their drafts; they just drafted really well.
absolutely,
I mean, they have a bunch of good Pokemon. So I mean, really smart by them, and they managed it well. And then there's you guys, which whatever, bunch of spares. You're lucky.
the luckiest. So week 7, obviously this is the schedule. I've put it up on here. We have Lamau taking on the babies. Huge game, and we will get to those ramifications in a moment. We have the Cult of Tyler Fister versus the Mighty Magikarp. Again, a very important game for Lamau, the babies, and Magikarp. Not so much for the Cult of Tyler Fister because obviously we've locked in, and at this point there's no real. I mean, obviously the higher seed can avoid the Plusles. Like being second and third seed, you can avoid the Plusles in the first round of the playoffs, which could be a bonus considering the form they're in. And the last game of the week, we have the Plusles versus Unknown Skill, which should just be a lot of fun because considering the Plusles are beyond locked in and Unknown Skill have been eliminated, we should definitely have some fun coming off that matchup. And I have like a little bit of a spoiler alert in the last slide of this, but we're gonna start with Lamau. Now, Lamau are currently on 6 points, and their primary scenario is they have to win. There's no draws, there's no losing. It's win or go home time. And a 4-0 win versus you guys would guarantee them playoffs, because in that situation, you guys would get eliminated if the Magikarps did manage to draw or win their game. But but any other win against you guys, like a 3-1 win, they then need the Magikarps to lose. They can't even afford the Magikarps to draw. So, what do you think, Bobby? What do you think about Lamau's chances here?
Oh man, they got a lot of cool Pokemon. They got a lot of cool teams. I don't want to look too far ahead to our matchup yet because I know that's coming on later. But I like the way they drafted. I know a lot of their players. I know they're good. So, I'm kind of surprised that they're in this position to begin with. But again, it just shows, you play 4 games a week and you got to win 2 of them to get a draw. They haven't gotten any draws, whereas the Magikarp, who are right ahead of them, have 2. And so, Magikarp are 2 points clear of LMAO. And so I guess, that extra game, every game matters every single week. They're going to have to win their way in. They're going to have to do it against us. It's a super duper long shot for them to be, in the position to make the playoffs. They got to get, pretty lucky. But if they can earn their way in, like if they go 4-0 and they all pipe up and everybody wins, just imagine how confident they'll be heading into the playoffs. And they'll need it because they're probably going to play the Plusles. So, we'll see if they can do it. It's going to be tough, but I mean, they got the talent.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's just been a combination of things going wrong for them on most weeks, I feel like. And but this week, I honestly looking at the lineups for this week, obviously there's you versus Trip and Yusum, where you're clearly favored because you're still undefeated, because you're mean and you like to beat up on people.
Don't jinx me.
I'm not jinxing you, bro. And then you have Oras, where Shaded plays Bold and Bolnak, and I think Shaded is more favored because Shaded has also been in top form recently. He's honestly, for how this tournament does not reflect how well Shaded has played this season. Frankly, he's been amazing for Lamau. And then you have so those 2 games clearly have one favored opponent over the other, at least on paper. But then,
can I say something too about the Oras game? It's
Absolutely.
a really, really tough matchup for us. Like, it's really, really hard. I mean, like, Metagross is really good against Latios and Weavile, but Nidoking beats it, Rotom beats it, Swampert beats it. So, like, it's kind of the one good thing that we have against them is pretty neutralized. But you think, like, Latios and Weavile both outspeed Garchomp and can pretty easily, hit it with some ice stuff. Same thing could be said for Zapdos. So, it's a really tough matchup. But the Gen 7 game, I'm really looking forward to that because I think their Gen 7 team rules. It's the kind of team that I would love to play with. Like, you know how much I love Mega Mawile. You know how much I love Rotom. You know how much I love my fast bugs. Like, I've used Rabombi in Season 2 of TBA. I
Yeah.
used a Selgor in Season 1 and Season 3. Rotom is like one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. I've used Mega Mawile twice before. So they have a really cool team, and webs are always tough to deal with. They got heavy hitters in Hydreigon and Mawile to take advantage of you if you're slowed down. They got Rotom with Thunder Wave and Rabombi with Stun Spore, and they got Toxic all over the place with the Moongus and stuff. So they have a really interesting team. So even though, I don't know too much about Trip, I've never played against Trip before. But even though I might be like the favored one or whatever, I would not count anything. I wouldn't take anything for granted because they got a pretty feisty team. Where if you screw up and you let them get up webs, you can't defog them away. Like, it's gonna be really, really hard to win.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I only just put it on paper, but I think anyone can win, frankly. And because it's just one. There's for them it's like it's almost like a no lose scenario. You win or go home. There's no consequences to playing bad. You just go all out. And
Yeah, dude, throw caution to the wind. Like,
Yeah.
cook up some heat, man. Like, let's see what they can do. Like, can they do something cool with Palisand? Like, what can they do with Moltres? Like, let's just get creative. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see some stuff. And if I lose to if I lose to something that's like way outside of the box, I'm just like in awe. It's like a privilege to lose to Heat. So I hope that they bring some rad stuff. I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But also the other two games. Honestly, I'm just hoping Clay versus Dargo is the last game of the week. If that game is what's determining this week, that's gonna be amazing. Even though it's an ADV and I'm kind of a noob in ADV, but like that's gotta be one of the games of the season.
Oh, for sure, dude. And it's the two most expensive people in the league, right? Clay and Tago are two of the most,
Yeah,
like
I
two of
think
the top, like
yeah,
3 or
Clay
4.
is the most expensive. I forget how much Dargo went for, but it's like 2 of the top 5.
Yeah, and I mean it looks to be pretty cool. Like, Melodic has a great matchup against Salamence and Aerodactyl. Celebi has a great matchup against Cloyster and Lantern. But like, they got some stuff, man. They could. I don't know. Clay is really, really good. I've never beaten Clay before. I've played him like 5 times, so I would not be confident if I was Tago. But then again, Tago's like on a roll right now, so I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a game. But the other game that I really want to watch is Blitz versus Rick. I feel like part of me feels like this is the game that actually determines this week. I like even the week 1 game against Lavier was determined on Rick v Papi, if you ask me. And I think that Blitz v Rick is gonna be absolutely huge. I feel like Blitz definitely threw to an extent in week 6, which cost them the draw and the extra point, where he lost the game against Celestial. But Celestial did play well the end. But I feel like this is his chance at redemption here. And for Rick, this is just his chance to just lock it up, honestly. Going into playoffs, you want that momentum. You want that win. Nobody wants to lose going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and in that game too, I mean, I'm pretty confident about the matchup we have. Like, look at their team. Look at Zeraora. Like, Zeraora has a great matchup here. Lapras has a great matchup. Landorus T is awesome in this game. Even Muck can be pretty good. Nidoqueen can be interesting for them, and Aegislash is always really tough to deal with. They got the GOAT, Magmar. So, like, they can cook up some pretty cool stuff, but I love our matchup in that game. But I think it's poetic that Mega Mawile is on both the Usum and the Natdex matchups because, one Mega Mawile is going to be in the playoffs, maybe even 2, and I think it's deserving because Mega Mawile is awesome.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So I'm gonna move on to the next team, which is the Mighty Magikarp. So Mighty Magikarp are currently 4th on the table. They're at 8 points, and they need a draw to guarantee playoffs at this point against us, because I think for them a draw would mean that even if the babies 4-0'd you, they would still be ahead on differential, so they guarantee a playoff spot. And a loss, though, if they do lose to us, they would be in a position where they would need Lamau to lose or draw against you guys, because at that point Lamau could win the week 3-1 and go up on points, and because they would go from 6 to 9, and the Carpies would be stuck at 8. But the other thing is also seeding. They can go to the second seed, should they win and should you guys draw or maybe lose to Lamau, they definitely move up the table. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Bobby?
They got a great team, dude. They got a great team. I want to start with Yusum because that's like the only tier that I know anything about. Coco looks awesome against them. Mega Metacham looks awesome against them. I mean, even like depending on what you do with Silvally, but dude, they're Fairy Dragon Steel. I mean, Clefable, Kieran Black, Scizor, it's been awesome for them. I don't remember what happened to them last week, but whenever I beat Critic, that was the only time that they'd lost in Gen 7 all season, and that had a lot to do with me getting like 35 flinches with air
Oh
slash
my
and stuff.
God.
So
Yep, Serene
yeah,
Grace
I mean,
Tornadoes.
yeah, oh dude, he's been coming through clutch for me, KP. He's been great. But that looks like a pretty cool matchup. I'm really looking forward to seeing you versus Critic. It's like two arch rivals going at it, man. I
Oh
expect it
my
to be a
God.
bloodbath.
Oh
And on
my
paper,
God.
that matchup looks really good. Like it looks really balanced. So I'm curious. What are your thoughts on that Oras game?
Oh, the Oras game is gonna be crazy. So the problem is that we've been building. Like, I've been building Critics since like pretty much September of like 2019. It's been like 2 years. We know all of our tendencies. We know all the sets we run. So we have to run like absolutely crazy crap to like catch each other off guard. Like that's usually what happens. And like I think we also, full disclosure, we did like we made sure the captains made sure that we were definitely playing. There was no way we were not playing each other this week. But I'm glad it was
A
an
little bit
Oras.
of cheating. That's all right.
Yeah, it's a little bit of we do a little collusion around here.
Oras is kind of your tier, right? Like, is Critic familiar with Oras, or is he more Gen 7, Gen 8?
I'm actually not sure because I haven't seen him do. I honestly thought we'd end up doing ADV. I told Fist, whichever tier, just like let them choose if they want to. Like I'm not, but I thought we'd end up doing ADV because we both don't know anything. It would have just been kind of hilarious. But that was definitely something that went across. But Oras, yes, I do have the advantage on the tier, but I think that their matchup is great as well. Like Infernape is so ridiculously scary, and
Dude, it's good in any tier, man. I'm
Oh
so
my
happy that we
God.
got it in our Gen 7 team. That was like the one Pokemon I really wanted.
yeah, it is that, and then they also have their own hyper voice boy in Sylveon, so it's I mean it's a complicated matchup. Like Mega
Yeah,
Aggron,
Sylveon is great against you guys.
yeah, it's just one of those matchups where I think the positioning is gonna make or break the matchup, but also the sets. I don't know what's gonna happen. I could like prep for a whole team, and Critic's gonna lead Scarf Sylveon and like Hyper Beam. Like I just know there's probably something like that in there. You just know this guy's got something like that. Like he's got something like that on his back pocket. So I'm very circumspect about the matchup. JD versus Fist in ADV should be really interesting. Obviously, I think Lambo is going to be benched always for this week. I think Lambo had exams and he was quite busy this week. So Lambo was always going to be benched. So Fist wanted to play ADV. Fist had a lot of fun prepping for ADV last week, so he really wanted to play ADV. I'm not sure if either of both of them are relatively new to the tier, and I don't know enough about the matchups to honestly suggest that we have an advantage. I do think that our ADV team is probably one of the best, but because we do have like a very good core with Raikou and everything, and it with Raikou, Flygon and everything, it just kind of works. It's a very good squad. Like it's been so far. I don't think we've had a particularly bad matchup in ADV, which has been really nice. I think the only bad matchup was maybe Lamau.
I'm concerned about their matchup against your team. I mean, Heracross is like the only thing. Now, granted, I don't know anything about Gen 3, but just based on paper, Heracross is the only thing that beats Snorlax like 1v1. But you guys have a Moltres, I mean, you have a Sableye. Like, just have a lot of stuff that kind of like scares it out or just doesn't care about fighting stab in general. So I don't know, man. It's tough. If Heracross goes down for them, like Gengar doesn't touch Snorlax, Magneton doesn't touch Snorlax. A lot of their stuff doesn't really have anything for Snorlax at all. So it's a pretty big advantage. But at the same time, if Snorlax goes down, then things get really spicy. So that's gonna be interesting. But I am again, I got my Cult of Tyler Fister T-shirt, my hat. I got my number
got all,
one foam finger,
got
my
all the
pennant. So
merch.
I'm pulling so hard for you guys. I got so many team building ideas. If you need them, just hit me up.
Oh, absolutely, man, absolutely. The other two matchups, Scamp versus Jamming. This is gonna be interesting because Jamming's not been in the best form lately, but this should be a really interesting matchup. It's honestly, can anyone actually predict anything Scamp's gonna do? It's
I love watching. I love watching Scamps games.
oh my god, they're
I
the most
love watching
entertaining
Scamps
games
games.
ever. He's like the Mikhail Tal of Pokemon, man. It's like you can't.
Dude, I try so hard to be the the tall of Pokemon, but I guess Scamp has that title.
Yeah, he does. It's kind of just effortless for the dude at this point. But I'm gonna back my boy Jamming here to pull off the upset. I think he needs the confidence boost going into playoffs, and I think he's got it in him to get this dub. Also, full disclosure, again, we did collude on another matchup, and that's the UDL boys. We have Frito versus Belgian Toast in the Natdex matchup. I this matchup's got me hyped. I honestly want to just see, like, Toast was like a complete surprise. He did win his last game when we played Lamau. He beat Trip. So this should be a great game going. This is like, again, we didn't have other players available this week. I'm pretty sure Sub-Zero is also unavailable. So it came down to a toss-up, and then we realized, you know what, Toast and Frito, Toast wanted to collude his way into the game too. So him versus Frito and Natdex, that should be another fun game to watch.
I don't know. That's a tough one, man. They got that big bear. I don't know how y'all beat that. I don't know. What do you think?
I think we've got counterplay to it, but I think it's gonna be a very offensive game. I don't think the game should last. Like, if the game lasts more than 30 turns, we probably lose. So, it's gonna be a very We have to offensively check half their mons. Honestly, their team, when they were drafting, like when they had Urshifu and everything and Torn and Mega Scizor, I was like, oh my god, if they go Rain, we just get 6-0'd. And then suddenly they dropped Hippowdon in chat, and I was like, we have a chance, boys. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't know. That was one of the most confusing teams ever, because I thought they dominated the early section of the Nattex draft completely. And then they I mean, obviously the Sand Dracozolt helped them win certain matchups. That is definitely a factor, but it is definitely like I won't say way easier, but it's definitely a bit more convenient than having to switch into Surging Strikes in the rain, man. Oh my god. That thing
Dude, you're giving bulletin board material right now. Be careful. Be careful now, TRT.
Yeah.
The one thing though, like, I don't know, man. Mega Alakazam isn't very good for you guys in this matchup, but Scizor, pretty much the only defensive thing they have. I mean, like Hippowdon, I guess, and Skuntank too, sort of. But if Mega Alakazam gets in, like, Scizor's gonna have to do a lot of work absorbing all those hits, because nothing else on their team can really take anything from it. So that is kind of the one thing. Like, if you can get that thing in safely, or get like behind some screens or something, I think you have a really good chance. But it's tough to do, because I mean they put on so much pressure right off the rip. I mean that's a really threatening team. Although, again, I don't know anything about Gen 8, so maybe I'm just a complete idiot.
No, it's true. It's gonna be a very offensive matchup, and I feel like Mega Scizor is gonna make or break this matchup for them. And I don't think I'm expecting to see a very defensive Torn in this game, but I feel like that's definitely a game I'm looking for. And now, moving on to the last team, obviously it is you guys. It is the Banter Babies. Y'all need a win or a draw to guarantee playoffs, and basically, I think even if you guys lose, you just need the Magikarps to also lose at that point. Or if you I think the other situation is, if the Magikarps draw and you guys lose 3-1, like 1-3, you still make the playoffs, because you're still one differential ahead of Lamau. So as long as y'all don't lose 0-4, or like, you know, and then have the Magikarps draw or beat us, I think you guys should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to have to rely on you guys or the Magikarp to choke or anything. Like, we just need to win one game and we're in. Win one, you know? And we can't approach it that way. You still want to win the week. You know, it'd be cool to move up. It'd be cool to jump you guys. But, like, still, I mean, we just got to win one game. Just got to do... And we have some good matchups. We have a couple games that I would think like if we play 100 times, we would win the majority of the time, but we only get one crack at it. So we just got to do one and we're in. And so yeah,
Yeah,
I'm feeling confident though, man. I'm feeling confident.
yeah, absolutely. I think you guys are in the driver's seat relative to the other two teams, relative to the Cops and Lamau. I think it's just a matter of not getting 4-0'd. And I think, honestly, though, I obviously you're gonna go into the week trying to win the week. No one's gonna go into this thinking, yeah, we'll be fine and stuff with just with a simpler result. But some of the games this week, I still like. I mean, we went over them earlier as well, but like some of this is gonna be the matchup of the week for me. Lamau versus the Babies. I'm so glad it came down to this, even though I'm kind of disappointed. If either of your teams get eliminated, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But it's going to be like obviously like after I'm locked in, I'm gonna say yeah. You know what? I feel bad if you guys get eliminated. But yeah, it's still gonna be this is gonna be a hell of a week. Like we're gonna see how teams come out on top, and I think this is gonna be one of those weeks where like I don't think I would have had it any other way other than this tight a playoff race going into the end game.
Yeah, for sure. And I want us to be able to play all 4 games like at the same time. I know it's going to be pretty impractical to try and pull off, but because there could be a lot of drama if, like, say we lose our first 2 or 3 games. But what if we win like the second game we play? Then it's kind of there's no like drama anymore. I guess they could still, I guess, get in if they go 3-1 and then Magikarp lose or whatever. But like, it basically comes down to can they 4-0 us? And so if you like waste the dramatic bullet like in our first game and we win, then it's over. So let's play them all at the same time and let's see if one of us can win. I think that'd be pretty spicy.
So why don't we do like a 30 and make all the Americans play on Australian Standard Time, since they've got an Australian, a Brit, and a Kiwi on that lineup for this week.
Oh, dude, that's tough. Well, I'm getting used to staying up till ungodly hours watching Luca play in the Olympics. So if they want to play at 5 a.m. Central Time, I'm down.
Okay, you heard it here first. Although, actually, to be honest, you're playing the only American on that lineup.
Oh, well, there you go. Never mind. It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's play at a nice, easy 7 p.m. I'm ready.
You heard it here, Trip. That's your scheduling call. So, the last game of the week, obviously, Pyroton Plusles versus Unknown Skill. I've got the last slide. It says thanks for watching, but like, you see a Delibird and a Masquerain, and that's foreshadowing. Because Polo's promised to bring both this week, and honestly, I feel like their games are gonna be really fun this week. It's just gonna be like random. There's absolutely no bearings of the week. Like there's no consequences. Like they can't the Unknown Skill cannot finish last in the table. Neither can the Pyrite Town Plusles drop off the first place. So there's next to no consequences here. So that's probably gonna be it. That's the entirety of the playoff round. You got anything you want to add, Bobby?
No, man. This has just been really fun. It's been really fun. I've been out of the game for a while. Kind of like came out of retirement, I guess, in like a little quick tour over in TBA like a couple months ago, and it was really fun. And then I think it was you, but someone reached out to me to see if I wanted to be a part of this, and I said yeah, and it's been great. And I just want to shout out Ari. He's done a really good job sort of managing our team, rotating everybody in, making sure everyone gets a chance to play, and to Tago too and the rest of the team really. Rick has given me a lot of stuff. Bold, everyone has kind of like been very sort of helpful with each other, bouncing a lot of ideas off each other. Every week I post my paste in our server, and everyone gets back to me, says what they think about it, and a lot of the times they give me ideas that I implement that come into play in the game. Like I would have maybe lost the game if I wouldn't have taken their advice. So it's been really cool to be on a team. I've always kind of wanted to play in a format like this, and never have gotten the chance to, but I'm really happy that I was able to join this league. So I've had a lot of fun so far, and hopefully we can get in the playoffs. And if we do, there's a really good chance that we would end up playing you guys, and that terrifies me because they might stick you in Usum, and I've still have yet to beat you in Gen 7, so that would be terrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, you came out of the retirement home and just said call an ambulance, but not for me, because that's been your season so far. Like you've just body bagged all your team could be losing 3-0 and you just come in, body bag your opponent and use them and leave. and it doesn't help that Serene Grace Tornadus exists.
So okay, the one thing I want to say about the squad that we got in Usum is the team that we're playing this week actually has one of the Pokemon that we really wanted, Palisand. That we really wanted Palisand. We ended up getting Marowak instead, but Marowak rules. But like you look up and down our Usum team, I think Jirachi and Torn are the only OU Pokemon. The rest of them, like Slowbro, UU, Infernape, UU, Altaria, UU, like a bunch of stuff is like even RU and NU, like Munchlax is like Little Cup. It doesn't matter like the individual quality of the Pokemon that you draft, right? All that matters is that they all fit together. And this team is like really versatile. Everything can do like multiple things. It can be physical, can be special, got weird speed tiers. All are super bulky, so it's been really fun to win or like to play, and it's been fun to win, but it's been fun to like play and to build around a bunch of Pokemon that I've never used before that aren't really like considered maybe super good, or that are good but like are just sort of like, I don't know, underrated. And yeah, so it's been really fun. I don't know. I've really enjoyed this season overall, and I hope it doesn't end this week.
Yeah, this is gonna. I'm really hyped for these playoffs. But thanks for coming on, Bobby. This has been really fun. This should go up like today, like by probably in like a couple of hours. But
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
all right, and that's gonna be it from me, guys. This is TRT77, and this is me signing off.